Okay, so starting off on day 2 of block 2, we have our barbell bent over row, or doing it with a dumbbell, okay? I've given no methods on this. I just really want you to focus on keeping that back flat. Inhale, exhale, and really focusing on form. And then we've got a hydrant. So for this, you can do it with a band. I would start off without a band to practice the motion, but if you do use a band, you have it then up and over your knees, okay? And then we're coming down, okay? We want to focus on sort of crunching our hip bone and our rib cage together to keep that core nice and engaged. We're going to inhale, exhale, and drive the hip out. Inhale, exhale, drive the hip out. The goal here is to make sure to try and keep your hip steady and to not have your leg coming up like that. So if you feel you're getting too much motion from your hips, you're probably just extending beyond what you're capable of. So just refocus. Inhale, exhale, little motion. And even just doing that, I can really feel my glutes working. So that's the first 2 exercises. Then we're gonna move on to a hip thrust drop set, okay? So for this, I'm not gonna demonstrate with the bar today because, well, can't. But what we're gonna do is you can keep doing it with the bar, okay? So if you're doing with the bar, you're gonna do the first exercise, roll the bar on as we were, and come up. I'm gonna do it with a band today. Instead, we're taking the band and putting it over our knees, okay? Then we're gonna do our hip thrust. So what we were doing last month, okay, really focusing, coming down all the way up, okay? You're gonna do your reps there. I think it's 8 to 10. And then after that, you're gonna roll the bar off or take the band off, whichever one you're using. And we're gonna focus on doing single leg all on one side and then single leg all on the other side. So basically our drop set is coming from basically moving with the weight down to body weight. But also we're just making it more challenging. So if you are doing the hip thrust body weight, just moving to a single leg just makes it a little bit more challenging. And vice versa, if you're doing it as a glute bridge, you can just do your glute bridge and then move into a single leg glute bridge as your drop set, okay? Start off with your weaker leg, see how many reps you get on your weaker leg, and then match that with the second leg. Don't try and do more reps to keep it equal. Then we are going into our seated Arnold press. So last 3 weeks we did just a normal seated press, whereas today we're going into an Arnold press. For this, you're starting with your dumbbells, palms facing you. You're gonna inhale, and then as you exhale, you're gonna rotate round and come up. Inhale down, rotate back, and then exhale. Now the key here is to keep the dumbbells relatively close and to not come too far out. You're just gonna make it harder than it needs to be. You can keep your arms relatively close in, okay? And then after we're ending those 3 exercises with a Cossack squat, what we did last month, okay, last 3 blocks, coming down, inhale, exhale, come up. Of course, you can hold on, you can have a bench behind you to help block your range of motion, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then our last block of exercises is a B stance RDL, wood chop, and then tricep dips. So basically, last month we were doing our shin supported RDL. For those that are new to that motion, I do want you to stick with that and just keep perfecting that. For those that have worked past that, you can do it with either dumbbells or a barbell. But a B stance RDL is having that foot forward and then that other foot slightly toward the back. So you're coming down, shifting the hips back, coming back up, okay? Inhale down, exhale, coming back up. And as I said, you can of course do this with dumbbells. Same principle, foot in front, coming back and forth. When you're in this position, you basically want 70 to 80% of the weight on this leg, 20 to 30% of the weight on that leg. This leg is really basically there to stabilize you, and then you're basically doing a single leg exercise. So similar to the feeling you would have had doing this one is the feeling you want to get when you're doing this one. Our banded wood chop, you can of course do this on a cable tower if you want. You just make sure that you have a band or whatever attached slightly higher than you. You're going to hold it with 2 hands. Inhale, exhale, coming down and across. Inhale back, Exhale, coming down. With this exercise, I like to focus on keeping my hips aligned and that the twisting really comes from the oblique and I'm not twisting my full hips. Okay, so really focusing on the obliques, doing the twisting. And then finally finishing off with tricep dips. So for most people, we're just gonna be doing tricep dips off a bench, okay? Your knees bent are gonna be easier. Your legs out, it's gonna be harder. If you find this easy and you wanna progress this, go look at the YouTube exercise library. I have tricep dips with parallettes. I have tricep dips on machines. So if you wanna make it harder, you can. And that is day 2.